Hello guys, Raforex is back again. Bringing to you another very insightful video. We're going to cover Bitcoin, right? And this basically what I'll be talking about today is why Bitcoin is going to go to 10K, right? So I'm looking for Bitcoin to drop all the way to like 10K. That's basically what I'm looking at right here. And this is based on the technical analysis aspect, right? So looking at it currently, looking at price action currently, right? We know that Bitcoin is bearish, right? We can see, we're going to see that the supply side, and this is basically based on institutional supply, right? So a lot of institutions are letting go of Bitcoin currently at the moment, right? And there's going to be profit taking, a lot of profit taking. You can basically see where the whole rally started from. So expecting price to come back there, right? We've seen profit taking at these highs right here, 70K, 60K, and price has been dropping like crazy, right? Price has been dropping, and now we can basically come back to reset, right? To reset and then possibly maybe continue to the upside. Obviously, we're not expecting a total crash on Bitcoin, but this is like, if Bitcoin comes to 10K, 9K, it's a fantastic opportunity to get in. You understand? It's a fantastic opportunity to get in, not just for Bitcoin, but for other altcoins as well. And looking for like the next bull market, looking forward to the next bull market, right? So even if you can't purchase like Bitcoin, which a lot of people can't, to be honest, even at 10K, a lot of people still can't own substantial amounts of Bitcoin. So you can look to other altcoins and you have to do your own research. I'm not dropping any altcoins currently. I have a personal altcoin which I'd love to get in on, but I'm not going to drop that as well. So let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at the technical analysis side of everything, right? So breaking it down, let's take a closer look at the 10K region, right? Because something you need to understand is if I say price is going to come into this level based on technicals, right? I'm not saying it because it's just a round number, right? There has to be a reason, a technical reason as to why price has to come to that level. Now, if you watch, I'll share this video after I upload the gold video, the video on gold, right? So if you haven't seen the video on gold, because I explain a lot of things, I cover a lot of things on demand and supply, support and resistance as well. So if you go back to the gold video, you understand what I'm about to show you. So if you haven't watched that video, go and watch gold, because I also do an analysis on gold and I also explain some terminologies and some approaches to technical analysis, right? How to look at candlesticks as well. So you understand more on support, resistance, supply, and demand, right? So we have a demand zone right here at 10K, right? This 10K region, 8K, 85, $9,000, $10,000 region. We have a beautiful support zone right here. Sorry, demand zone, right? We have a good demand zone here. You can see where price stabbed into this and push it upside. Now, this is not order block, right? A lot of people, the order block, if you're trading order block, oh my God, you would be drawing this out like this, right? I'm not outlining this out like this. We don't trade order blocks here, right? We could care less about other blocks, right? What we're looking is the price levels, where price is picking up this huge momentums, right? As you can see, price was already pushing to the upside, right? And then it had a correction, and then this whole impulse moved price all the way to the upside. Now, the reason we're calling this a demand zone is because you can see the amount of orders, the amount of long orders that were generated here, right? Institutional long orders were generated at this price, which means if price is to drop back into this zone, we could expect another push to the upside, right? Now, is price going to pick up bullish momentum from here and go to 100K? I can't answer that, right? That's based on fundamental analysis aspects. So you leave that up to the fundamentals of the markets, how the institutions are going to react. But is this a good level to take price, to take profit, to trade into, to trade shorts into? Definitely. Definitely price has a high probability of coming into this level. A high probability of coming to this level, very, very high, right? Now we do have a support zone being marked out. This was resistance, right? You saw the equal closes of these two candles, right? After this week to the upside, pull this week to the upside, dropped, price came back to retest that, dropped, didn't make a new low, right? Didn't make a new low. So you see price action looking like this, right? So this was higher low, and then price pushed to the upside, right? Now you can see the reaction. Again, this is where price created a demand zone. This is where institutional long orders were pulled from. We have another equal close here as well, right? So support turned resistance on the demand zone, right? So we have support resistance. We have wicks, 1, 2, push the upside. Very good price action, very good price lever. This is the monthly time frame, right? There's a monthly time frame. So a lot of people don't look at the monthly time frame. They don't even know what's happening on the higher time frames. A lot of people, there's a lot of panic. Oh, Bitcoin is doing this, Bitcoin is doing this. What you need to know is that this market, especially the crypto market, all markets work on greed and fear, right? So at this point, a lot of people are fearful as traders. We know how to capitalize if the market's going up, if the market's going down, right? If you're in Bitcoin for the long run, right? If you understand the utility behind cryptos and where the world is going, right? If you're in the position financially to be a long-term investor in an asset like this, then there's no need to panic, right? You at this point, you'd probably be getting ready to get involved. But I don't feel a lot of people who are going to watch this video are financially in that position, right? To be long-term investors. A lot of people think a lot of people buy into these cryptocurrencies thinking that they are long-term investors, but they don't even understand what long-term means. They think it's going to be like 2 months, 3 months, where you're talking about like 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. These are assets. If you build your portfolios on these assets, if you're going in long-term, you're probably meant to never, ever, ever sell, regardless of price fluctuations. This is actually all you can pass on as wealth to the next generation. Do you understand? A lot of people don't understand that concept, right? A lot of people are looking to make money off of these things. So it's better to be a trader, make up your profits, right? A lot of people don't even know how to approach trading, but that's a story for another day as well. But you're meant to know the ins and outs, how to basically get in and get out to secure profits, right? Because a lot of people are not financially in that position to have this type of assets as investment options, right? But a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that. They want to get rich from crypto. Crypto is meant to store wealth, right? If you want to create wealth or generate wealth through assets like this, you should already be in a financial position where you're not trying to create wealth for yourself, where you're trying to maintain. So you need to understand the difference between creating wealth or generating income and maintaining wealth and protecting it. It's 2 different concepts, right? A lot of people don't study these things. They just go with what the public is saying. Back to the main concept of the video, right? So we've done a quick look at why we're pushing into 10K. Now for a demand zone, let me go to like the weekly time frame so we can zoom in and really look at 10K, the 10K region, right? So like as I was saying, this is our demand zone where we saw price push into this level. You can see price moving to the upside. This is like an inducement for sellers, right? So for those people who know about smart money concepts, right? ICT and the rest, if you are to look at this move to the downside, right? this is basically the pullback to like the 78.6 or 79% fib level, right? So a lot of short orders will be generated here by retail traders or inexperienced traders, as we like to call them. And as people like to say again, this is like smart money playing institutional orders coming here, right? People think that the smart money way of trading is to trade these fib levels, blah, blah, blah. But what we know is, from my own experience, is when I understand where smart money plays is where these setups fail, right? So this is an example of failure, right? This is an example of smart money coming in, generating orders here to the upside. Like we saw on the monthly time frame, we saw how impulsive that was. It was like a bullish momentum for like how many months straight, right? So this is an example of where the so-called retail smart money failed, right? And real institutional long orders were generated here. Majority of the orders were generated here, right, to the upside. So this zone becomes our demand zone. This is why we are targeting 10K. Now, looking at price currently, where price currently is, right? Looking at this push to the downside, any pullback, any little pullback, any slight pullback, people will think this wants to recover, oh, Bitcoin is going up. Why? The market is built on emotions, fear, greed, right? Fear and greed, fear and greed. As long as humans are susceptible to their emotions, as we all know, right? Humans are susceptible to their emotions as always. So that's where humans get vulnerable. Machines don't have emotions, so machines are not vulnerable to emotions. Humans have emotions, so humans are vulnerable to emotions, right? Humans are very, very vulnerable to emotions. So looking at it from that aspect, this continuous pull to the downside, a lot of people are getting emotional, and a lot of people want to see a reversal. They want to see a reversal. They want to see price push it upside. So we're always going to get this little pauses where price starts to recover. People getting on the buys, they get stopped out. Recover. People getting on the buys, they get stopped out. Not to say you can't capitalize on the buys, but you can't take any long-term buys at the moment on Bitcoin, right? Until price comes to 10K, then we'll start to reanalyze and see how far. We look at the grand scale of things, the fundamental side of things, the institutional side of things. How is the world economy faring? Do people trust crypto now? Is the market going up? Blah, blah, blah. We look at all those things and we can then tell if we're going to see a new bullish phase in the market or not, right? But that's not what we're here for. We're not here to look at, to predict. We're here to analyze technical analysis and follow through on what technical analysis is telling us, right? Moving forward, something again I need to point out quickly. Looking at this, we can also see that we broke below a huge demand zone, right? Huge demand zone. Again, go back to the video on gold. What's next for gold? I will leave that video at the end so you can quickly refer back to that video. Look at it if you've not seen it. Demand zones, right? You can see these wicks pulling into here, boom, again, boom, right? And now we had price break below that, retest it, push to the downside. So we know that when demand zone gets broken and retested as supply, then obviously the market is bearish, right? I explained all of this in the previous video. To the daily, real quick, let's look at the daily time frame. And let's look at the setups we are currently seeing. Like, look at this push to the downside, right? I was talking about any little momentum to the upside, buyers will get trapped, right? See this consolidation. People probably wanted to see price recover here. It died again. Same thing will occur here. People will want to see it recover again. It probably die again, right? So we're looking at that, and we have a very, very, very interesting setup here on gold, which I'm already in these shorts, right? I'll break down why I took these shorts, my entry and everything. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame and let's look at it. But quickly on the day time frame, I just want to show you some of the levels I've marked out already, right? We can see the equal body closes of this candle, right? So the equal body closes of this candle acting as support. This C price come here, bounce over here, go back to retest. This zone I marked off is a demand zone. Broke out of that demand zone, went back to retest it, right? Again, support is just for the bounce, boom. Now I expect support to get broken. Support doesn't hold for long, right? What we are looking at is demand and supply, right? Support doesn't hold for long. Again, go back to the video on what's next for gold. I explained a lot on demand and supply there. So going to the 4 hour time frame now to have a closer look on what we are looking at, right? We did have a demand zone here, bounce to the upside, bounce to the upside. I sent out a trade idea on Bitcoin, or signal, sorry, on Bitcoin. That was for the VIP members. We were able to capitalize on the move to the upside, backed about 100 pips on BTCUSD. And I had a conversation with a friend, right? He had a short bias on gold, on Bitcoin, sorry. Had a short bias on Bitcoin. I was still in my longs, right? I had taken partials, done all those things, fine. I was in the longs, I'd managed risk, done everything, right? And obviously I know Bitcoin in the grand scale of things is bearish, right? So he was telling me, he showed me his setup, right? I was like, that's great, right? At this time I was still in the longs, right? I knew I could get stopped out of the longs, but at the same time, I needed price to set up. I'm trading technical analysis, not emotions. So you have to be logical, right? Now, he could have showed me the shorts and I'd be like, oh, let me get out of this longs. But I'd already traded it. I'd already made money off the longs, right? I'd already managed risk, done all that, right? There was no need to panic. You don't need to be in a panic state. And I explained something to him, right? I told him, this is my demand zone. I need price to break below this demand zone. And then I'm bearish, right? Right? Technical analysis is all about following the markets. You never know what could happen, especially when you have less knowledge about the fundamental of things, right? The market could turn at any moment, especially when there's a fundamental catalyst, right? That's when you see the market go crazy, right? So you should always let the technicals tell you what to do when you're a technical trader, right? Your strike rate is not going to be as crazy, right? It's not going to be on point as crazy as that, but you have when you follow the market, right? When you follow the trend and you're following the momentum as a technical trader, right? When you're following what the market is telling you, right? When you're following the market step by step, when it's bullish, you're bullish. When it's bearish, you're bearish, right? You're not trying to call or predict. You're only following cues, right? So you're allowing the market to make its move and then you step in. When you trade that way, right, you're going to have a fair success rate, right? My win rate is about anywhere between 70% and above, right? That's good. That's 7 out of 10, right? Sometimes 6 out of 10, sometimes 8 out of 10, depending on the month, right? It's never going to be 10 out of 10, and that's fine as a technical trader, right? Even a 5 out of 10, getting 5 trades out of 10 correct is great as a technical trader because one loss is minus 1%, one win could be plus 2%, plus 3%, right? If you know what you're doing, obviously. So that's fine. So I told him, I have this demand zone at 20K. I need to see price below 20K, right? What happened next? Price broke below 20K, retested 20K. You can see this wick flew up through this level, right? And then look at the candle close, boom. We still didn't get our entry there. We didn't rush in, right? We waited for our setup, we got our setup, and now I'm short on Bitcoin, right? Going for 18K. Again, why am I targeting 18K as my first target? Why not 10K? There's going to be multiple setups. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of space, right? There's going to be multiple setups. Obviously, it could just fly down, but that's a rare occasion, right? We have equal candle close here. We've seen a wick push into this level before. We know that this is a support level. So obviously it's going to get broken. We've seen a bounce off of this support back into this demand zone. Now this demand zone is acting as supply, right? This demand zone is acting as supply. We have another demand zone that was formed here, and that supply zone, sorry. We have another supply zone that was formed here. So even if this setup doesn't work out, let's say we get stopped out of this setup, as long as price stays below this supply level here, so maybe throw another week into here, and then we can have another setup, right? So we're bearish on Bitcoin into 18K as of now, right? So these are our targets as of now for this trade, for this setup. Now for the setup itself, I'm going to invert my scale now. So let's say this is a demand zone. Let's look at this now on the flip side, right? Let's say this is a demand zone. We've seen 1 week push up, we've seen another week push, right? Now, if we take a close look at what's happening here, if we had to take, let me go to lower time frame, let's say 2-hour time frame, so we can get a good Fibonacci retracement. So now what I do quickly is I'll take the Fibonacci and I'll look at it like this, right? So we have the 618 and we have the 78.6. So when we look at the 618, you can see price stopped here, pushed in this direction, right? So this is basically where people do things like this, right? This is basically where people would say, okay, we've seen this is a pullback, price will continue like this, right? So people will have their trades like this, right? So what is this? What's up here? This is like where we get stop. This is where the stops are. So for anybody who is going in this direction, their stop loss is here. And for what we know, stop loss is like when there's an accumulation of stop loss in the market, it's like liquidity, right? Liquidity. So since we know liquidity is here, right? Since we know liquidity is here, what we're expecting to see price run in this direction before possibly moving this way, right? And again, we have the higher time frame picture saying we're meant to be going this way, right? So it's a high probability move that price is going to go this way. Now, if you remember what I told you about smart money and smart money failing and all of that, right? Again, we have the 78.6. After the 618 failed, price will push to the 78.6, right? Now, people who are selling, remember, I flipped the chart, right? Because I like looking at it this way. Because this is what a lot of people love to see, basically. A lot of people, their eyes are peeled for this, especially if you're trading smart money. So looking at this right now and saying, okay, price wants to continue in this direction, they'll still be holding out on this trade, right? So what do I simply do? I really don't want to go into too much of how I did my entry, because it's basically stuff that you won't get for free, basically. But I'll just put it out because I know maybe not a lot of people might be interested in watching this kind of content. So I'll just put it in plain sight, hiding gold in plain sight. So if you watch this content, you are able to watch this video, you walk away with something that you can go and practice. So first thing we see is our zone. Remember, this is a supply zone. But let's just say in the event you come across a demand zone, especially when price moves aggressively into it like this, you can see how price moves aggressively. You can see the equal closes on this candle, it flipped, right? So this is an indication that this is a fake move, right? People call this institutional candles and whatnot, right? So this is like a false move. Is a false move in the sense that a lot of people will see this and it will induce greed. Remember, greed and fear, right? This kind of move induces greed. Look at how fast they move in this direction, right? A lot of people want to get involved in this direction, right? If they're not able to, some people will enter around here, they'll get a bit of profit, and then boom, price will close here. Some will enter around here, right? It will move a bit, and you can see, boom, they're in loss, right? So a lot of people are trapped on this side of the market, going the opposite direction. Stop loss all the way above here, right? So we did have the 618, boom, the 618 failed, came into the 786 or 79%, as the smart money people will tell you. Again, it failed, right? So if I have my position sizing tool here, so you can see I bought on the retest of the 618, but in this case, I'm selling, right? So I sold on the retest of the 618. Let me flip the chart so that you can see it properly, right? sold on the retest of the 618, right? Stop loss just above here, right? Stop loss just above here, right? And then looking for price to continue in this direction to 18K. So this was the simple entry that I used, right? Very, very simple entry that I used, right? So you can go replicate this in some other markets, right? If you come across setups like this, where you see the fake move, you know, get people trapped, greedy people are here, they don't understand demand zones and supply zones. And look at what happened, like just broke out of demand, institutional candle back into there, and then pulling out of that level, right? We have support, a retest on support. We all know support is just for the bounce, it's going to get broken, right? And then we'll come into another support zone. So it's very, very, very simple. Very, very, very simple. The setup that we're using here. Now, this kind of setup, I'm very, very, very comfortable with the setup. I did not send out a signal on this setup. Probably if price is still around this range, around our entry, going into Monday, I might send out a signal, but basically just for the VIP. But this video is free for everybody, right? So anybody who sees this video, you could jump in on the trade if you want to, or you could you just basically understand what's happening on Bitcoin as well. And I've given out an entry strategy as well for those people who are quick to understand things. I've given out a huge strategy, right? Very, very high probability strategy, works a lot. works a lot. So yeah, this is basically it on Bitcoin. This is my short trade into 18,000 and my analysis of Bitcoin to 10K, right? So I've given out a lot. I've given out so much. A lot of people might get it. A lot of people who have been trading, obviously, who have trading experience, can take advantage of the knowledge that I've given here. A lot of people who are new traders might not really figure it out until later. But yeah, that's basically it. This is basically what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Is basically why I feel Bitcoin will drop to 10K from a technical perspective. How it's going to get there, we'll have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see. But this short trade into 18K is basically a done deal, right? The setup is good. Whatever happens from here happens. I don't really give a fuck. But yeah, that's it. That's basically it. I'm trying to think if there's any other thing I need to say. Obviously, if you found value in this content, you can just share it. Share with your friend, you know, share with your friends, share with your family, share with anybody who is invested in Bitcoin and really doesn't know anything about it or how it's going to move or how to go about it. Again, if you're financially capable of investing in Bitcoin in the long term, you don't really need to worry about short-term price movements. And remember, long-term is basically anything from 5 years, 10 years, or for the rest of your life, right? It is a way to store wealth. It's about storing wealth. It's not just about making profits. So forget about it. If you want to make profits, become a trader, get in, get out. You understand? Learn technical analysis, learn fundamental analysis, learn how price moves, learn price action, learn how to get in, get out in the short term. But if you're financially capable, if you've already created wealth, you've already created cash flow for yourself, then you can just buy Bitcoin and wait. You don't really need to get lows or getting out the lows. You just need to invest in it and keep buying the dip whenever it dips, right? You don't have to care about precision. You just need to build your portfolio around meaningful cryptocurrencies, right? Cryptocurrencies with intrinsic value. That's all you need to do. But if you're trying to create wealth through trading or through investing, you should definitely be short term. Stop holding. Stop thinking you're going to hold to a certain amount and sell for any coin, not just Bitcoin, right? For any assets, yeah, just sell. Sell whenever it's high. Sell whenever you're in profit. And save up your money. Go and invest it somewhere else and build cash flow for yourself. So I'll end this video here and see you guys in the next one. So remember to go back to the video on gold. right? What's next for gold? I also gave out what I'm looking for gold going into next week. I'll upload the gold video before I upload this one. All right, peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one.